Rushing Manhua. In a devastated world, under the night of a full moon, a villain asks a great man for his motives.
For what? Why resist a world without suffering? Humans are fools. Resist my dominion.
The monster approaches, gigantic and hidden. It is not possible to see its entire body. He tries his best to make up the hero's mind. But for the hero, the future belongs to humans, and all the time he took from them will be taken back with the claws of humanity. Angry, the villain shouts at him,
The future of humanity only brings destruction. If you don't understand, then you must die.
Quickly, an attack is launched at the Prota. An explosion forms, and purple smoke fills the environment. All seemed lost, but a warrior girl arrived in time. She swears by the name of Jeanne Dark. She will never let him touch Jia. The monster enraged, he prepares to attack again, stating that whoever interferes will also go along. But just as he is about to release his movement, he is hit. An explosion forms at the impact site. The other warrior did it with her bow and arrow.
Bastards!
Shouts the villain. He is very angry. Suddenly a light with an intense red glow comes towards you. It ricochets and breaks all the stones in the path. When she reaches the monster, the attack is ferocious. She was more of a warrior. According to her, before meeting Xia Shang, she also thought like this: humans are not hope. But after meeting him, she realized, despite being fragile, they have unlimited potential. The last attack on the monster did a lot of damage. Now shouting, he claims that his body has exceeded 50% damage. He needs to heal. So noisy. Can't you shut up? Asks another girl, this time with electrical powers and attacking the freak. For his future with Prota, he must disappear from this world. Thunderstrike. A big attack is launched by her and everything explodes. These once they won, says the already shrunken little monster. But the future that awaits them will be much more terrifying than death. Then he is stepped on and disappeared. It's absurd. Villains don't die from talking too much? What's the point of releasing a mystery after death? One of the girls tells the Prota not to worry. She made a vow a long time ago. His life is everything to her, and regardless of the enemies they face, she will always help him fight them. Then, in a scene worthy of romance films, the two face each other and call out to each other. The other girls, possibly jealous, stare at them. The one with white hair asks what they are whispering. Are the others invisible? She also tells the girl named Jeanne that what she just said is very corny, but Jeanne turns to them and states that the Xia Shang is hers. What problem do they have with that? After this speech, the discussion begins. Each one recognizes the young man as their own. So to unbalance the fight, they start to argue about who has the biggest breasts. But the Prota, not knowing what to do, just asks them to stop fighting. Certainly, if I were him, I would immediately say that I am all for equally. My joke then, a chalk is thrown and the Prota's head is hit. Who dare to attack this lord? Are you not intimidated by my 40-meter-long blade? Shouts the protagonist in the middle of the classroom. It seems like he was just dreaming and the chalk woke him up. At that moment, he stops. Everyone in the room stares at him. The teacher shouts with hatred that he is really very bold. Sleeping in the classroom, he must immediately write 1,000-word self-criticism to redeem himself. He tries to explain himself by saying that he is actually like this because last night he was very busy with something very important. The teacher. Then he asks, what should he be doing? Saving the world. As you know, asks the Prota. Now she also wants to know how he saved the world. I defeat the great demon king trying to change history in a mobile game with my wives. Now the hate went to his head. Now he must write 10,000 words and not go home before finishing. After staying up until the night writing, the Prota leaves. On the way, he complains in a conversation with his friend. 10,000 words. He didn't deserve all that. He was just playing. Learning is as boring as living without playing. His friend agrees with him, who doesn't want to have a 2D wife, right? The Prota says that although the game Infinite Fantasy Universe is a bit cliche, the girls inside messed with him. Then, when he gets home, he tells his friend that he's going to hang up. Yet entering the first thing he does after leaving the call is to turn on his game, but unfortunately, he sees that he is out of diamonds. He must recharge. But if he recharges, he will only eat instant noodles for the rest of the entire week. Good, according to him, whatever the case, the world is big and wives are worth it. Suddenly a voice behind him. I've finally been waiting for you, Xia Shang. The anomaly. One beautiful girl with few clothes was waiting for him. According to her, it was not easy to find him. She had been waiting for a long time. All red, he asks her if they know each other. Is there something between them that made her wait for him? You idiot! Of course I'm here to play with you, she responds. Get out, girl. girls, play with the anomaly. Then 2 velociraptors come out from behind the girl. But he shouldn't worry. She cast protective spells nearby. No one had seen intervene. The protagonist clashes with the kidnappers. How they can appear in the real world. The woman, it's sad, disappointing that he doesn't like them. Then her face falls and she tells the girls to kill him. At that moment, the kidnappers ran towards him and without reacting, he was massacred. Now she says she is disappointed. He was nothing more than a weakling. She even tells the girls to eat if they make a mess. She doesn't want to be bothered by the insects in that world. Like this. As she turns her back, an aura lights up. She wonders how. Suddenly a flash goes from the ground to the sky. Jeanne Dark, summoned by the command of the Prota. At that moment, she becomes your protective shield. Memoirs. Everything that happened that day runs through his head. He is sleeping, but suddenly he wakes up with a fright. Snorting, he wonders why his head hurts so much. Maybe it's because the teacher made him write so much. Because of that, he even had a very strange dream. In the middle of it all, a voice. "Commander, are you awake?" There he looks ahead, and a beautiful blonde girl is in his bed, Jeanne Dark. He asks her why she is there, so she replies that he called her last night. Last night? Called? Then he remembers last night when he was about to become prey, an interface for drawing cards appeared before his eyes. He clicked on the first thing he saw, and then a light descended from the sky. At that moment, he passed out, but he remembers seeing her at some point before blacking out. "So you really got called out of the game?" asks the Prota, but she doesn't even know what a game is. The Pro asks the question, "If you don't know what a game is, where did you come from?" She responds that a voice told her that the commander was in trouble, so she responded to the summons. "Trouble? Are you talking about that dangerously dressed woman?" asks the Prota second him. The outfit she was wearing was actually quite dangerous. Noticing the malice in his speech, Jeanne says that he cannot be fooled by appearance. She feels the demonic aura of this woman. Her hometown, the kingdom of Sao Francel, was invaded by them. Your father at that time was a rural lord of the empire. His life was not luxurious, but it was very comfortable. But after the invasion of the demons, everything changed. They captured the royal capital and killed the king. After that, all the people lost the spirit of fighting. The nobles even tried to sell the remaining lands to collaborate with the demons and preserve their riches. And even Jeanne's hometown was devastated by the flames of war. The Prota realizes that these are the background introductions of the game's characters, and she continues saying, "After that, Commander, you know what happened. I hear the voice of the Lord telling me to save the country. Following this path, I received approval from the crown prince and the bishop, and received command of the army. But despite continuous victories on the battlefield, I was unable to defeat the demon resident in the capital. Because of this, the Prota cannot underestimate the demons and their minions. Whoever underestimates will pay the price." The Prota asks her if she knows who that girl was who attacked him last night. Second Jeanne. Her name is Morrigan. She is a subordinate of the Demon Queen and one of the 12 pillars of demons. Its main abilities are enchantment and metamorphosis. Yesterday's dinosaurs were the result of this metamorphosis. The Prota must be careful because this woman is the queen's most cunning subordinate. He asks Jeanne if she knows what an anomaly is, and she responds that she isn't sure about it. She just knows that it seems to be related to the demon's invasion mechanism. Looking out the window, Jeanne says that's great. The Prota asks her what she's talking about. According to her, his world is great, peaceful. So he invites her to go out and have a look. Jeanne is super happy, asking if it's serious indeed. And the Prota says yes, but that perhaps her outfit at the moment is not the most appropriate. Then she turns red with embarrassment. Walking down the street, the girl asks where they are going, if this is their king's palace, if they are going to visit their king. But the Prota explains that it is actually a supermarket where they can buy and sell things. Jeanne is impressed. It's even bigger than the palaces in her world, so she assumes it's quite expensive. But he says it's cheap, and he wants to take her shopping for some clothes, and she's happy. She hasn't bought clothes in years. She doesn't need to worry today. She'll buy whatever she wants, says the protagonist. In his head, he thinks, spending money on his wife for the first time, he must be generous. 30 minutes later, she is about to leave the dressing room, but she is embarrassed, and the Prota encourages her to leave. When she leaves, she asks if it doesn't look a little strange. The all-red Prota says with a stutter that she looks a little small. "What about this?" she asks. She notices that the Prota's nose is bleeding and asks if he's okay, but according to him, it's nothing. She can continue. More clothes, and she also notices that smoke is coming out of her head. But again, he says it's nothing. She can continue. More of an outfit, and this time as a bunny, when she asks the Prota fall to the floor with a bloody nose. She is worried and asks what's wrong. He should wake up. Later that day, Prota and Jeanne are sitting on a bench having snacks and shopping from earlier. The Prota is seeing things that used to be in the game now in real life. He really didn't expect this to be possible, but he doesn't understand how the summoning system works. Of any way, he will try to click, but the moment he tries, he is transported somewhere and wonders where he is. At that moment, a short character appears. Welcome, host, to the ultimate gacha system. You are currently in your exclusive space of the system. He asks her who she is, and she replies that she is part of the Oni-chan system. Her name is Alice. He can call her that. She is an AI. And that whole system is the same as the cell phone games that the Prota already knows. He can use gacha to get rewards, weapons, items, in-game skills. Even characters can be obtained through gacha. Alice also says that because he is a weak player, he could not get rare characters. The Prota gets angry and wants to argue, but she says that if he is not convinced he can spin the roulette wheel 10 times for free, irritated, he says that he will definitely get an SSR character so she can burn her tongue. So she shows him, and he says he will show his power with the gacha system. In the first round, he wins a stone card, which falls on his head and makes a bump. It's a shame, according to her. It's actually a stone, right? But that's okay for him. He still has 9 spins, and he will continue. 5 minutes pass, and the Prota is all finished. As expected, his luck is terrible. With a sad expression, the Prota says that the gain rate there is very low, but it will recharge to run another 100 times. But she states that it is impossible to recharge this system directly. He was able to recharge by collecting dimensional fragments that will be released if he defeats monsters that have started to appear around the city. In other words, he will have to fight and get materials. Second Alice, 1 fragment buys a round, 10 fragments buy 1 round with the guarantee of 1 rare item, which may or may not be a character. It's basically the same game mechanism that Prota is familiar with. For the Prota, she is as scrupulous as mobile game developers. The son knocks loudly. With his head down next to Jeanne, the Prota stutters talking about Alice. So she asks if he knows Alice. Right there, the Prota is surprised, because he also asks her if she knows about this system, and she says yes, that's what told her he was in danger. That's why she came. The Prota keeps thinking that Jeanne clearly remembers him and has memories of fighting along with him in the game world, but there should be more than one anomaly. Would the other also invoke game characters? And would they be characters from the same game or different games? While the Prota remains in philosophical discussions in his mind, Jeanne is amazed by this food that he calls a hamburger. According to her, it is a divine gift. The Prota asks her if she has never eaten anything like this there, as this is the least technical food they have there. The Prota tells her that later he will take her to the food street, and she is happy, asking if all the food there is delicious. The Prota, with the face of someone who knows how, says he's going to show her what gourmet means. Jeanne is worried that it might be expensive, but it's no problem for Prota. It will be a small issue for him. One woman holding 2 cards in her hand appears next to a tree. She found them and they seem defenseless. So she throws the cards, and when they are close to hitting the protagonist, Jeanne interferes and releases her shield. The Prota asks what is happening, and she says they are under attack. The woman who attacks them, he recognizes as Jiang, and Jeanne asks if he knows her. According to him, this girl is the monitor of her class. How can she do this? Shuai Shang, the student who loves playing mobile games. The girl like me, she is also an anomaly. You are not an ordinary person, right? What is your relationship with Xia Shang? Jiang asks. Jeanne says she is the commander's knight. If she wants to harm her, she will have to step over her corpse. The Prota is embarrassed by what she says and lowers his head. So she asks if something is wrong, but he says no. She can continue. Jiang recognizes this way of anime and powers and asks if she was summoned from another world. A girl is surprised by Prota's ability to call characters she describes as enviable, so she must woods it. A little girl watches them and shouts to her mother that they are incredible. They can shoot fireballs and lightning. But his mother breaks the ice by telling him not to be stupid. They are probably recording videos. In that moment, the Prota suggests that they change their local, so they go to the port. In the meantime, it's already night. And according to the Prota, there at night, there shouldn't be anyone but them. There, he asks the question, why did she attack him before? She give me one. He steps back and says it's absurd. There's no need to have a reason to fight anomalies, and while he's talking, he prepares an attack. Jeanne shouts at the Prota, and under the water an eye opens, an eye probably from an enormous creature. That's all, guys. Leave a like and subscribe to follow the next videos. If you want to continue this work, or there is another one that you want to become a video, comment below. Bye!